We are building the Sports Heroes project from the YByte Python curriculum available at www.ybyte.in. In this video, we'll start doing the comparative analysis between Wimbledon winners and say French Open winners. The first question we ask ourselves is, well, which are these people who have won either or, which means that a set of all the players that are basically either Wimbledon winners or let's say French Open winners. So, these are in one set or the other, and of course, they could be in both the sets. Now, this is basically obtained with what is called a union operation, very, very similar to what would be an OR gate, let's say, in case of a bitwise operator, as we'll see later on. But it's interesting to see this from a Venn diagram. Remember, we had the set of, let's say, Wimbledon winners. Over here we had a set of Wimbledon winners, we had a set of French Open winners. Now, what we are after in a union operation is anybody who falls in either of these sets. So, which means you won French Open, you won Wimbledon, perhaps you won both, that's okay. But remember, set itself cannot have duplicates. So, even if a player has won both Wimbledon and French Open, the name will appear once and only once. Let's see this in action, in our code. So when I come in here, I get to my, let's say, comparative analysis function. Presently is just a pass, so I will remove this. I will just go and say, well, winner, let's say, winner, say either or, and I will do, say, a union between these two. So winner set one, a pipe operation here. Sorry, the pipe operation, which is this, and let's say winner set two. Now, remember, this union operation gives me a union of the two sets, which means all the values that are present in either this or that, with no duplicates, of course. This is also a set. I would like to see this in my, in my analysis.dat. So I just, with a bit of a context, I add, let's say, some prints to my analysis.dat. I just go and put a comment, let's say something like this. So print, let's say, uh, print, say, line, and I just put, let's say, winners, say either or. So first I would just tell, okay, look how many of these people are there. Well, I know I can find that out by just finding out the length of this set. So str, let's say, len of, say, winner either or, because that's the length of the set, as we've seen before. And I'll put this, let's say, plus a backslash n, so that the next line goes to, it doesn't clutter my file. I just have to be a little bit careful here. I think I'm messing this up a little bit. So plus, let's say, a backslash n. Now, having printed this one line, I will also want to tell my, let's say in my analysis file, I'll also want to tell who these players are. So I just go and say, well, these are, and, let's say a backslash n, let's say, these are, let's say, plus, say, backslash n, so that again, the next, subsequent, let's say, names end up on the next line. And all I need to do thereafter is to call this function print set, and I just need to print, let's say, winner either or. Now we will run this much and see what's going on, because that way we'll understand much better. And then we'll take a slightly closer look with one more example on the union function. So when I, okay, so there's a small error over here. I just realized that, this should have been a plus, because the print line statement, print line function, remember, takes in only one argument. Having fixed this, when I go and run this code, the code runs. Let us look at our analysis.dat. Of course, in the beginning, it's all the same. It tells me, look, who are the Wimbledon winners. Then it tells me who are the French Open winners. And thereafter, it prints, well, winner either or. I could have probably given a space over here, that would have helped. It prints, for example, winners either or. There are 42 people. So there are all of 42 people who have won either Wimbledon or French Open. Think about the magnitude of this. In so many people, just 42 individuals have achieved this. Basically, this is the union of these two sets, which means that these names that you're seeing here are either Wimbledon winners or French Open winners, or perhaps they are even both. They might have won both. We'll see this later, right? Before moving further, however, let's make a couple of changes. I will add, let's say, an empty line over here, in the after my, let's say, analysis function, so that basically after a print table, I can go and print, let's say, print line, let's say a backslash n. So that will make it a little bit uncluttered. Let's just see this working. When I look at it now, post this, notice there's a gap. So reporting for French Open, and then it tells me with a gap over here. So that makes it a little bit more, let's say, readable. Before moving forward, let's just understand this union operation a little bit better by an example. Let's say I have two sets, 1, 2, and 3, and another set, let's say B, which is say 3, 4, and 5. Now, notice the item 3, or let's say the value 3 ends up is in both the sets. When I do, for example, C is A union say B, I get a set C which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's either in this set or in this set. Of course, it could also be in both. Now there is in fact one more way to do this. The operation is the same. I can go and say C is equal to, let's say, or maybe I'll call it D is equal to A dot union say B. So it's like saying, well, take A and show me what happens when I union that with the set B. Of course, I could have also done B dot union A. That will give me the same exact answer, right? So if I were to do, let's say, B dot union A, that tells me the same answer as well, right? So this is one way of doing it, but I find it convenient to just use this pipe operator, because it's just more compact that way. Yeah. I hope this has been clear to you. This is a very interesting mathematical concept with lots and lots of applications as you learn more about set theory in mathematics. But seeing it here with data, with with names that are familiar, with data that is something interesting to us, I think makes it very much more. As always, applying concepts to a real activity makes them that much more interesting, and that is what we are doing at YByte. As you're seeing in the Sports Heroes project as well, look at our website because we have many, many, many such projects. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.